All right, the Callaway Opus Wedge versus the Jaws Raw. Look, one of these is the shiny new, tour-driven model that's replacing a massive fan favorite. The other, it's that classic wedge sitting right now in your buddy's bag, the one he flat out refuses to replace. So is the new tech actually better, or are we just looking at marketing hype? Let's find out.
Welcome to Golf Gear Showdown. We put golf gear head-to-head to help you pick the exact right winner for your game in this explainer.
We've all been there, right? Standing in the pro shop, staring at this exact dilemma, literally holding both clubs side by side. On one hand, you've got the new Opus. Callaway retired the beloved Jaws name, totally changed the look, and brought in a completely different face technology. But you're paying top dollar. On the other hand, the Jaws Raw. It's previous generation now, which means it's showing up on clearance racks and discount sites. Do you pay full price for the new tech, or do you hunt down the discounted classic? Pick wrong, and you aren't just wasting your hard-earned money, you're stuck with a wedge that fights your swing every single time you try to hit a delicate pitch shot.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We've got 6 rounds of combat, setup and matchup criteria, spin and forgiveness battle, control and feel showdown, price and value comparison, best fit by golfer, and finally, our final verdict and recommendations. Make sure you stick around for round 2 though, because there is a massive surprise regarding turf interaction that completely changes the math if you're a steep swinger.
Section 1, Setup and Matchup Criteria. Let's get into it. Okay, let's look at the specs based on design intent. Callaway built the Opus with what they're calling Spin Gen Face technology. Basically, this means tighter groove spacing, an offset groove and groove pattern, and a quartz blast. So why does that quartz blast actually matter to you, the average golfer? Well, it adds serious surface roughness, which prevents the ball from sliding up the face on wet shots. And crucially, it's a plated finish, meaning it won't rust. The Jaws Raw, on the other hand, was all about that unplated, rusting face. The whole theory there was that raw steel plus rust equals more friction. But before we start throwing scores on the board, let's lock in the rules of engagement. We guarantee we are not going to sit here and invent launch monitor numbers, spin rates, or carry distances today. Without exact data sitting right in front of both of us, the fairest way to judge this battle is by design, grind availability, face construction, and what everyday golfers consistently report. The scorecard is clean, guys. Let's go. Section 2, the Spin and Forgiveness Battle. Round 1 is spin and stopping power. Now, Opus is really going for consistency here. The plated finish with that quartz blast, it's a strict durability play. Common feedback suggests that texture holds up much longer over a full season of pounding range balls and dealing with cart bag rattle.
Yeah, I hear your durability data, Mike, but let's be real for a second. As a 15 handicapper who needs literally all the help he can get hacking out a wet morning rough, the aggressive grab of fresh Jaws Raw grooves is just undeniable. When you peel the plastic off, that unplated face absolutely bites. However, bare steel does wear down, so winner for long-term spin consistency for sure has to be the Opus.
Which brings us nicely to round 2, forgiveness and turf interaction. Look, wedge forgiveness isn't about having some huge, clunky club face. It is all about the soul. Jaws Raw offered 5 grinds, C, Z, S, X, and W. That gave you a massive net to find your exact fit. Opus kind of trimmed a lineup down to 4, T, C, S, and W. Honestly, losing the Z and X grinds is a pretty big deal for players who like to manipulate an open face without adding a bunch of bounce.
True, that's a fair point. But Opus features a significantly rounder leading edge than the Jaws Raw. And as a numbers guy looking at the geometry, that rounder edge provides a way smoother entry into the turf. If you are a steep swinger, that specific edge is absolutely going to save you from digging trenches all the way across the green.
All right, time to name the winners. Round 1 officially goes to Opus. Round 2, we're calling it a tie. If you absolutely need a Z or X grind, Jaws Raw wins by default. But if you need that rounder leading edge for forgiveness on those steep strikes, Opus takes it. Keep watching though, because coming up in round 3, we're revealing a sneaky performance difference between these two that most average golfers completely miss. Section 3, Control and Feel Showdown. Okay, here's that sneaky difference for round 3, which is control. Think about this. Which wedge flies flatter on a crucial 40-yard shot? Well, based on design intent, Opus was built around a lower, flatter launch window because of its tighter groove spacing. Lower flight means way less wind interference and a much more repeatable carry distance. Jaws Raw just inherently flies a touch higher.
And as an amateur, let me tell you, absolutely nothing ruins a scorecard faster than a ballooning wedge shot that gets caught in the wind and drops 20 feet short. Flatter flight is huge for distance control, so the winner for control is Opus, strictly because predictable consistency lowers your scores, period.
Let's move over to round 4, feel and confidence. The visual contrast between these two is wild. Look at the Opus models. It's a much cleaner, more modern shape. It feels firm, dense, and super compact at impact. But honestly, as a mid-handicapper, it looks a little intimidating at address. Now picture the Jaws Raw. It looks meaner. It has a bigger footprint, a straighter leading edge, and that larger size just inspires genuine confidence when you're staring down a tight lie. Plus, a lot of players report the Jaws Raw feeling slightly softer. Let's put some scores on the board. We already named Opus the winner for round 3, control, based on that predictable flatter flight. But for round 4 feel, we are calling it a tie. Visual preference and impact feel are just highly personal. You really have to trust your own eyes and hands on that one. Section 4, price and value comparison. Round 5, let's talk money, everybody's favorite topic. Opus is the current generation, meaning you are paying full retail price today. Jaws Raw is previous generation, which means it's sitting on the discounted or used market. Here is a smart shopper move that most golfers completely miss, taking a discounted Jaws Raw in the correct grind and pairing it with the money you saved to pay for a proper wedge fitting. That absolutely beats buying one full-price wedge right off the rack that doesn't actually fit your swing. Because of that math, the undeniable winner for round 5 value is the Jaws Raw. Hey, it is really hard to argue with a great deal. But before you run straight to the bargain bin, coming up next in round 6, we are breaking down the exact wedge winner for your specific handicap and swing type. You need to know which profile you actually fit into. Section 5, best fit by golfer. Round 6, let's match your swing rapid fire. Beginners, you want the Opus W grind for that super friendly leading edge. Mid-handicappers, the Opus S or W grind is your absolute sweet spot for predictable flight. High handicappers, you need the Jaws Raw W grind for maximum sole assistance. Seniors, look at a lightweight shaft paired with the Jaws Raw for that softer feel we talked about. Fast swings, the Opus T grind gives you the precision you need. And what about slicers? Get the Opus with its offset groove pattern to help grab the ball across the face. Distance seekers should lean towards the Opus for that penetrating flight. Forgiveness seekers, you need a high bounce W grind in either family. And budget buyers, Jaws Raw all day long. This brings us to the biggest buying mistake you can possibly make. It is shopping face technology while completely ignoring the sole and the bounce. I see this all the time. A guy copies a tour player's setup, buys a low bounce 60-degree wedge, and then chunks 30-yarders straight into the pond. A low bounce wedge for a steep swinger is a punishment, guys, not an upgrade. Check your bounce.
I literally did that exact thing last year. Cost me a dozen premium balls before I figured it out. Seriously, I almost quit golf over a low bounce lob wedge.
Section 6, final verdict and recommendations. Let's wrap this up. Let's lay out the fast, honest pros and cons, starting with the Opus. Pros: plated durability means the performance lasts, and that rounder edge is fantastic for steep swings. Cons: you're paying full price, and you are limited to only 4 grinds. For the Jaws Raw, pros: incredible raw bite, 5 grind options, and it is the best value by a mile. Cons: the raw face does wear out over time, and supply is shrinking fast out there. Honestly though, I don't think the raw face wearing out is a deal breaker. If you only play 20 rounds a year, it'll last you plenty long.
Fair point, but for guys beating balls on the range every Tuesday, bare steel absolutely wears down faster than a plated face, it just does.
All right, here is your final scorecard. Overall winner, Callaway Opus. Beginners, Opus W grind. Mid-handicap, Opus S grind. High handicap, Jaws Raw W grind. Forgiveness, tie, just get a W grind. Distance control, Opus. Best value, Jaws Raw. No budget limit, Opus with a custom fit. Used market, Jaws Raw, but please check those grooves before you buy. Seniors, Jaws Raw for the softer feel.
And here's the brutal truth. If your current wedges are less than 2 seasons old and the grooves still grab, skip both of these. Spend your money on a lesson instead. That is the most honest advice we can give you.
All right, your turn to judge this one. Drop a comment below right now, Opus or Jaws Raw. Tell us your handicap, your budget, and your usual short game miss. I read them all and I'll tell you which one I would personally steer you toward.
Also, let us know what showdown you want next. Vokey SM10 versus Opus? Maybe Cleveland RTX versus Callaway? 2 clubs, 1 winner. If this explainer saved you from buying the wrong wedge, hit subscribe for more head-to-head gear battles.
And remember, before you buy, ask yourself, are you buying a wedge to fix your swing or complement it?
We are Golf Gear Showdown.